needs now is innovation like we've never seen before. And we need it fast. I mean, way fast. This is a race against time, one without a finish line or the promise of a victory lap. The road ahead remains unpaved and unpredictable. But one thing is certain, we must kick it into high gear for humanity's sake. Let's start it up. Over the past 10 years, EIT Climate-KIC's Accelerator program has been Europe's engine for climate solutions. Now it's time to push the limits with the world's premier program for clean tech startups, ClimAccelerator. Introducing a global platform where entrepreneurs, partners, local governments, and industry experts join forces to innovate, catalyze, and scale the power of climate solutions. We are fast-tracking innovation, turning clean tech ventures into scalable businesses, and harnessing the power of human ingenuity to drive rapid impact and unlock a net-zero resilient future for all. Electric airplanes, edible packaging, meat alternatives. Over 500 products and services are being brought to market at full speed with the support of ClimAccelerator. And things are just revving up. The fast lane to destination 1.5 degrees starts here, and we're ensuring a rapid transition to zero carbon technologies at every turn. It's time to unleash the world's innovation potential and scale towards true industry transformation. The countdown to a climate-positive new normal starts in
3, 2, 1.
Join us for the ride.
To the demo day of ClimAccelerator Beyond 2022. This is the final event of Acceleration Program, and I'm very proud to be host of this event. My name is Ondřej, and I'm certain that you will find topics of our discussion panels interesting, and maybe you will get some answers, inspiration, or interesting questions to think about. Also, let me express gratitude for our partners, which is EIT Climate-KIC, Veolia, Heineken, Nestlé, Microsoft, and Seed Starter of Česká spořitelna for making events like this and acceleration programs possible, for supporting people all around the world to improve and build their ideas to functional solutions for our future, for future of our societies, cities, regions, and planet itself. I also should mention that we have other investors present who will neither be in the panel discussions nor in the breakout rooms to one-to-one meetings for consultations, but are interested in learning about your projects and contacting you directly if you catch their eye or ear. Those investors are Jakub Řehoř from Seed Starter Česká spořitelna, Jan Korous from Telia Impact Ventures, Jan Davidek from Purple Ventures, and Tomáš Kabeláč from Soulmate Ventures. And now I would like to invite lead of consortium of Climate-KIC, of ClimAccelerator, Marek Musil, to give us few words to the beginning of this event. So Marek, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Ondřej, thank you for the great welcome and warm-up. I'm so pleased to be here today. I'm so pleased that we have gone through those two stages, stage 2 and 3, in the past months with our startups. We have 24 startups in our 5 regions in our consortium, and these weeks and these months have been fantastic. And today we will end it with our beautiful investors demo day, which I'm really looking forward to. Please enjoy it, everybody. Thank you one more time that we can be here with you, all the investors, or our startup representatives, all the partners in these 5 regions, and enjoy it, have fun. And now please welcome our co-founder of Impact Hub Prague, Petr Vítek.
Good morning, everyone. I'm dialing in from my vacation in Austria. It's really a pleasure to be here. I mean, this is the pinnacle of today's year when we try to engage, inspire, and support amazing entrepreneurs who tackle probably the greatest challenge of our times, the climate crisis. And I'm personally very much vested in this theme. So let's get to it. Let's enjoy today. Let's get connected. And this is not the end, but perhaps the beginning of a longer collaboration. Thank you so much. And let's get to it.
All right. So also for our speakers who will be in discussion panels, I would like to ask you, we have very limited time. So I need to ask you for being brief, on point, and really precise when you will be speaking and answering on my questions. We prepared with my colleagues and coordination team, which I would like to thank as well, 3 topics on 3 groups. And we invited investors, startups, and alumni and representatives of acceleration programs to speak with, talk with, and get some answers for my really curious questions. So after this read, we have 3 panel discussions, and you, audience, who are looking at us on our streams or here on Zoom, you can ask questions as well via Zoom, which is on QR code on the right bottom corner, I guess. So if you scan it with your phone, you can find the Slido, you can write down the question. I will see it here on my cell phone, and I will do my best to ask the question which will be there, okay? So during the second discussion panel, there will be private meetings, one-on-ones with our investors, which is private, so you won't be able to see it or hear it. But I need to tell you that there is something more than our discussion panels here in a program, and that this event, the whole thing, is for our investors and projects to meet. So yeah, the discussion panel are general for everybody, but these private meetings are really private. And also after the second discussion panel, we have a little break for 15 minutes. So around 11 something, we will have 15 minutes break. I will tell you when the time is right. And now let's go and jump right into the first discussion panel with our investors, which is called Get Inspired on Climate Action and Investors' View. I would like to invite our panelist, which is Andrew Gray, a representative of Tilia Impact Ventures, who is investment manager from Czechia, or he's living in Czechia, but you know, he's Andrew, like me. So Andy started his career as a strategy consultant in New Zealand. He then moved to Prague in 2016, become COO and CFO of digital electoral startup D21. He has worked across the CEE region in his career and has first-hand experience of building businesses and raising pre-seed, seed, and Series A investments in emerging markets. He is an angel investor and board member at a startup developing an accounting application to improve access to finance for micro-entrepreneurs in West Africa. Andrew also holds an MBA from the University of Cambridge. Then it is David Kowalski from Czechia, who is a serial entrepreneur with strong technical background. He is an IT guy who has found his passion in business. During the last 15 years, he has been building projects, products, and recently companies from ground up in various fields. He is passionate about startup culture and also social businesses. He is a business mentor specializing in strategy and enjoying sharing openly all about good, bad, and the ugly. He helps companies achieve sustainable success by raising engagement and employing key talents of their employees. He enjoying living out of his comfort zone. He thrives in dynamic work environment where learning comes in the toughest and most effective form. He lives to share knowledge by listening first. Then it is Dejan Tonik, who is from EBRD Star Venture. and he is the regional coordinator from Serbia. Dejan is the regional coordinator for EBRD's Star Venture program in the Western Balkans region. He has been part of EBRD since 2013 on the position of associate at the SME Finance and Development Group. Dejan considers himself as a professional and devotee in providing support and matching people, ideas, and money. Then another representative from Microsoft is Lubomir Bandjuch. He's working in IT for more than 20 years on various sales positions. Majority of the time have spent in Microsoft, primarily in mid-market, corporate, or SMB segment, working with partners, commercial and public across Czech and Slovak customers. Primarily, he focuses on the sales, marketing and development strategy, segment management, pipeline management, and sales forecasting. And last but not least is Mark Cullen, member of management board, Electron Czech Group, blockchain advisor, crisis manager, and founder of Fitbit and Beyond Leadership in Slovenia. An entrepreneur and business development expert that has helped numerous companies transform and redefine the future landscape of their business, brand positioning, and increase technological presence via startup investments. So I briefly introduced all of our speakers, and now I have a question or questions for them, okay? So first of all, this will be the general beginning, and I would like to ask, what are the current trends in investing? And I would like to start with Andrew, because we got same name. So Andrew, if you can start with this.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I think, fortunately for everybody here, one of the big trends at the moment is climate tech and sustainability investing. So I think we're all riding a very nice wave here, coupled with the fact that I see the region that we're in, the CEE region, as also being a kind of trend at the moment. So the amount of capital that's starting to flood in here, the ecosystem is kind of blossoming all over with, successfully exited founders, success stories that are kind of providing inspiration. You have a lot more accelerators, incubators, sources of capital, and a lot more startups getting funded here. So I think for everybody on this call, you're kind of in the right place at the right time. And that would be a trend for me.
Thank you, Andrew. David, you're the next one. Same question. What are the current trends in your point of view?
I think Andrew said it very nicely, that the trend is beautiful, that there's more money pouring into the region. If you really asked me 10 years ago, saying, hey, could I raise some serious money? Could I raise hundreds of thousands of euros with my sustainability startup? I would just laugh. 10 years ago, we were looking at really very traditional investments, oftentimes solar panels. And now the companies are raising hundreds and thousands and millions of euros with sustainability in mind, with real climate impact. So that's changing. And there's so much money pouring into the ecosystem that it's in its very early stages. That means that things are coming up. There's new accelerators, there are new mentors, there's first people who have successfully exited. So there's actually a chance to be at the beginning of the ecosystem and just grow on the wave, just because the companies are one of the first. That's a huge opportunity I'm seeing.
Thank you, David. Dejan, may I ask you for your answer on this question?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, I have to top up on what the previous panelist has said. That definitely the situation is improving in a good way, and we can see a lot of investment coming in this specific area. But on the other hand side, I have to say that there is still a lack of knowledge on the matter. The majority of the investors, they believe, I can include myself and the whole team behind me, we believe there is something there and that we should do a good thing by supporting such initiatives, such projects. But honestly, if there were not so many consultants, the experts that would provide us additional information, and we're constantly seeking it from them, the investors that are in my circle wouldn't simply, be interested to invest. So there is still a lot of there's a gap between the ideas that are presented to the market and the money that's prepared for the investment. Somehow this gap is shrinking with the assistance of the expertise, but it will be even better once the investors themselves, finally, embrace the whole the whole sector, and increase their own capacities for recognition of the valuable businesses to be supported. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. And Mark, your point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. If I may just add on, what I see the trend is, it's actually, we used to ask all the startups and scale-ups, what's the traction? What's the business model? Who's the team behind the startup, the idea? And now I see more and more investors, angel investors, VCs, family offices, as we are. We like to also see what's the social impact, what's the sustainability, what are you changing for the better? So I think that's a very important question that is becoming more and more important, that we always like to also see what's the other agenda. And I also have to say that there's a bigger push from European Investment Fund and European Investment Bank. So there is a lot of capital, especially in the next year, going to be available for startups that are going to be exploring and innovating in this segment. So overall, I think there's a big change, a big push, and I'm extremely excited to see what's going to happen.
Thank you, Mark. And Lubomir, I would like also ask you about your point of view, because you are coming from big corporate. Is there some difference between looking at the same question through your eyes?
Not really. What I see over the past years, and it's accelerating, is number of projects that are growing. Not only coming from DC, but they are growing in Czech and Slovak, and they are active. They are looking for solutions. They are looking for opportunity. They are looking for investment, and the money lies here if the project is important and well set up. So I mean, number of projects are growing dramatically. We see it on everyday basis. They are great ones, and we are looking for as a trend that there are not generic ones. They are more focused on each and every industry, in government, utility, retail, manufacturing, in a concrete way. And this is what we like the most, that we are targeted, and we are supporting such projects in a different manner, different programs, and we are scaling, and we would like to see much more that we have currently, and this is as well the platform to motivate other startups to do more, to invest more, to be more vocal. But those are the trends that I see it right now when we are talking about Microsoft, about the platform those startups are building their solution on.
Thank you, Lubomir. And Andrew wants to react on Dejan. So Andrew?
It's not an excuse, but I wanted to offer a reasoning or my perspective on why I think what you said, Dejan, is completely true. So there is a lack of specialization and differentiation between investors in the region now. But I would say it's a factor of that there hasn't been enough capital to need to specialize in the past. And more from our perspective, because we are sector agnostic as an impact investor. So we do climate, education, healthcare, social. And for us, it's a function of deal flow. If we had a lot, thicker deal flow at any particular area, we could begin to specialize. But unfortunately, the deal flow has not been there for us to specialize. So I think you're completely right, but it's going to be a future function that we as investors will need to specialize, because the trend is that the deal flow is increasing. The startups are getting more technical, and there is now actually enough competitive capital that you will need to specialize. So total future trend. Yes, it's not like that now. It will be in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for the reaction. And next question will be, because we were talking about the gap between, the startups and the investors, also that there is a gap between the specialization and what we were used to. So what makes a startup interesting to invest, and what is no-go for the investors looking at this matter, this topic? What will be the breaking point where you say, yeah, this is the thing I want to see grow and spread and explore more, and where is the stop mark, and you need to prepare more for our investment rounds and so on. So first, David, can you take it from this point?
Sure. So in traditional startups, what I look at is that the company is very targeted and focused on money. That's a conscious focus on money and growth, and that it's measurable, that they have a good system of measuring what the success means. With impactful startups, there's another aspect to that actually the startups really need to bring the same to the table with the impact. They need to have a conscious impact, and it needs to have some form of measurement. Now, the tricky question is, where do you draw the line? And because obviously we need to balance between the impact and generating some money, generating cash flow for future growth. So the companies really should have some form of an answer to that, some form of a plan, and be conscious where the line should be drawn, and perhaps where it can shift. The worst that can happen is having all the opportunities. We can turn out to be full impact. We can turn out to be fully nonprofit. We can turn out to be a full business. We can do this, or we can do that. Then eventually the whole business case or the whole investment case becomes a muddy ball, which you cannot really grab by any edge and continue and say, hey, so we can really help you here. And obviously, I don't expect, and I don't think any investor actually expects all the boxes to be ticked. The startups or the scale-ups, they are not perfect. If they were, we would never meet. But being frank and honest about where the lines are, and being clear about the plans, so we can talk about numbers and we can exchange opinions on where the numbers should be headed. That's a clear bottom line under which we need to look. Here it is, and this is where we're really aiming at.
Okay, so if I understand it good, so honesty and straightforward talking with investor is a good way how to do that. And for you, the stop mark is when somebody is not ready, like don't have numbers and so on, or
yeah, there's two aspects to that. One is not having a clear vision of where we want to go. So I'm more open to having people who have strong opinions, weekly help. This is where we want to go. Then if I see projects which can go either direction, okay, so we need your money, and either we're going to go left or we're going to go right. We'll figure it out with your money. That's not acceptable for me. And I also need to see the line where they say, well, this is our impact. This is our target impact. It's conscious, it's measurable, and this is our money. We're targeting this money, and again, it's measurable. So, and this is where we draw the line. In case we need to pick one, this is where we bend one way or another.
Okay, thank you. That was much clearer for me. Thank you. Dejan, can you tell me your point of view? Where is a go and no go way?
Thank you very much for another good question. From the perspective of the institution that I'm representing, it takes time to get to know the startup well. And if the startup survives long enough, to survive all of our, bothering from different angles and coming to them with different questions for months and months, then it's a first good step, So it usually, it's a long procedure to, identify the one that we'd like to support, and then later on to invest in. But if I could narrow this perspective on what would be a clear go and no go at the moment, and especially specifically for these kind of startups, the first thing that would attract me would be the instant overview of the market and the preparedness of the product to go straight to the market, the understanding of the clients, understanding of the pricing, understanding of how these things will be sold and why the hell somebody would buy it and for what money. And definitely a no-go thing would be if the presentation and then the whole attitude looks like a beauty pageant, speech. I like to improve the living conditions in the world, and to stop the pollution, and influence some parameters that I read in some strategy document. No, that's definitely some. I always appreciate the altruism, and I appreciate the enthusiasm, and all the good things. But this should be primarily a business, and whenever it's the business first and then the rest, it makes sense. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Lubomir. May I ask you for again the corporate point of view about the cooperation and go and no go ways?
Again, every week we have many different meetings, not only with corporate partners but as well with startups. And for me and for the team I'm working with, it's about the energy of cooperation, how they are agile, how they communicate not only with us but as well with ecosystem, as well as with customers. What is their clear vision, their strategy, the KPIs, what they would like to achieve, not only with us, but with the customers within a year, where they see their business in a year. As well, they need to build the story, the solution on Microsoft platform. So this is like key for us to invest, to get some investment or interest for that. As well, very interesting point is the situation or the solutions when they are sensitively ready, because our customers, not only in the enterprise but as well in public, they are looking for such solution and in a scale. Okay, they would like to deal with such a solution, and we are looking for such a startups. And as well, the startups are many times not in the market yet, but we would like to see how they become from the potential to the impact, and how to reach without us or with us. So it is interesting to see how they see it and what exactly they need from Microsoft to be relevant on the market. For the no-go, because I mean this was also the part of the story, is as Microsoft is a brand, is a vendor. Many times they are asking us how to support them, but they don't know. They don't have a clue what exactly they are offering or what exactly they want from us. So it's kind of asking for some help without knowing what exactly they would like to offer, or they would like to invest from their side as well. And this means, okay, either they need to do their homework to analyze what exactly they want, or they will say, okay, no, this no way we can support. Let's try a different way with different vendors.
Okay, thank you, Lubomir. Mark, your turn.
Yeah, thank you. And I have to agree with all my predecessors, but it also depends if we're talking about a very early stage startup or a scale up that basically needs funding for growth, for expansion. But I would say all the main things that were already mentioned. I really pay attention to the team. I like to see a diversified team with different types of knowledge, experience. I personally also like to see a team that has failed, because that means that they know what it takes. They know it's going to take a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of negotiations. It's going to be tough. I also like to see that the team is constantly doing the product market fit. So they're constantly testing the market, And like Mr. Lubovic mentioned, that they're talking to their network, to their ecosystem. It's also very important for me that I see, usually I like to see the data room, that it's very well organized, because a lot of startups, they only have a pitch deck. And I also love to see some financial projections. I know that the numbers can be imaginary, but still it gives me insight into what they think, how they think, what they believe in. So if they're confident. What I don't like to see is, so what's a no-go for me is, there's a lot of startups that have a lot of awards. And for me, that gives me a focus that they're basically going from different country to country, winning awards instead of focusing on the product. And for me, it's also very important that they know that sales and business development are as important as the development of the product. Because a lot of startups, I would see they have budgets for development. They are just really focused on the development of the product, but the sales and the business development are lacking. So they're spending, I don't know, half a year or even more on a product. And once the product it's never going to be perfect. Once the product is finished, they start going out, and I think it needs to be really in parallel. So they need to go earlier. So those are the no-goes and the goes for me. But yeah, I'm very excited. I see that there's a lot of great ideas, especially in our region, a lot of entrepreneurs, and I really love it. I think that's the advantage of our region is that everybody thinks globally. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And Andrew.
I want to build upon a point that Mark made about the failing. So I think you can also learn from other people's failures. And one of the things I really like to see is a general awareness of where that startup and that idea fits in the context of people trying to solve that problem. Because most problems, you're not the first person to try to solve it. There's probably already some status quo. There's probably a graveyard of startups that have tried to solve that problem. And I much prefer when people come to me and they say, here's all the people that have tried it. Here's the solutions they've tried. This is why mine is different. And this is why I think it will work, rather than the dreaded, like, there's no competition. No one's tried it before. Like, these are the things that really, I think, turn us off. So yeah, that general awareness of the environment that they operate in and that they are innovating inside. And then maybe a no-go is, so we are an impact investor. Our role and what our LPs are giving us money for is to maximize the change that the startups make. And the companies that we invest in, often we might do the first money in, but then later on, they're getting traditional money from traditional VCs. And sometimes that money is coming with different expectations of what the company will do, how they will pivot. So for us, philosophical alignment is really important. It's like a relationship. You don't know where you're going to go. You only know whether you're kind of aligned, so that when you face a fork in the road, you'll probably both walk in the same direction. So we really look for that philosophical alignment, and we've no-goed some attractive companies in the past because of that lack of alignment.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I hope that all of the projects who are watching us made some notes to be prepared for a meeting with their investor, and they will take good care about what you have said. So now, what are the current challenges in the investment sphere? So you started with specialization and the gap. So what are the other challenges and how to overcome them? For you as investors, how to, make the impact of your work even bigger? Because right now you told us what is a go and no go way, and how you can improve also to be even better at your work and in the comparison with the challenges you got ahead of you. So this is the question again for all of you, and we will start with Mark.
Yeah, again, great question. I have to say that for us, it's really important that startups, they're not afraid of the answer no. So they need to have the guts. I hear a lot of young entrepreneurs and founders and they're a little scared. So I always tell them, encourage them, look, go out there, talk to as many VCs as possible, because feedback is extremely important. Feedback is golden, and the communication, even when you make an investment, like we've heard before, the communication is key. If there's a problem, if there's something in business plan or in the KPIs or something, or OKRs that we've established for the next tranche and they're not happening or not going to happen, communicate it with me. Tell me, look, this is what has happened, because we still have a problem. We still have the time to solve this challenge. So my key takeaway would be extremely honest, be focus on communication, sincerity, and just try. It's going to happen. There's a lot of great ideas, a lot of great entrepreneurs, and when you get the first investment, it means that somebody believes in you. And at least we, and I believe that all my colleagues, we like to be active. We like to be involved. We like to be asked questions. And if there's a startup that asks us for help, we're obviously going to help because we believe in them. We invested in them. So we stand behind them. So I would just say, in general, just clear communication and just feedback.
Okay. And what is the main challenge for you? Like for the investment group?
For us, currently, the main challenge would be that there's too many startups. There's a lot of great ideas, so it's hard to choose. And yeah, I think that will probably the main challenge. So the team is expanding, hopefully. But the second thing would be that you see a lot of all of our countries are prospering in a way that there's more and more entrepreneurs. And what I would love to see is more startups from different countries reaching out to me, or the Slovenian startups reaching out to other VCs from other countries, because I think that this connection can be extremely helpful. And I'm also a huge fan of talking to other VCs. So I hope that today all of the panelists we will exchange contacts, because we're all in this together. The ecosystem is as strong as we are strong together. So I think that that's also one thing that's very important.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And Lubomir, what are the challenges for your company and you personally, maybe? You are muted.
I'm sorry. Mark, you spotted right. I had two. I get four, but two of them are what you mentioned. The geo expansion. We are facing an issue to promote our startups that are having great potential to other markets. I'm not speaking about the CE, but to go to Western Europe, to go to Nordics, go to US. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, all of my team to promote the startups outside. And the second one is about the potential, how to pick the right startups. I mean, we have, I don't know, hundreds of 100 plus startups within the project. We'd like to get more, but how to pick the right one that can help our customers, not only in Czech and Slovakia, but in C, and to promote them. It comes with this geo expansion. The other challenge what we have is we have a great project, great startup, agility, but the knowledge of the technology, how to expand beyond that. And the last one is about how to get new customers, not only on one-to-one basis, but to scale. So those are the challenges that we are facing, all those four together. And somewhere we are successful, somewhere we are a bit less. And we are speaking individually through mentors with startups, how to overcome all those four challenges what we have.
Okay, thank you, Lubomir. And David, what are the challenges for you and people around you?
Let me take another look at that issue. So when a company gets to a stage when it's talking actually with investors, interested investors, when it's talking to supporters, then that's actually the good state. There are the problems. How do geo expansion? How do you raise more money? Those are actually cool problems. That's fun. Like obviously I'm joking, but those problems are as hard as others, but to actually get to the point, that's the issue. So the companies really do need support in the very early stages, ranging from advisors, high quality incubators and accelerators, which have really fantastic mentors and investors who give not just general advice, not just any consulting advice, but really targeted advice for impactful startups, because the area is very different. And also that the accelerators understand that there are many subcategories in the impactful field. So all this support is needed. And from the side of the startups and the entrepreneurs, the smart people who come up with the ideas, it's really hard to differentiate what's the proper word, the junk from the value, right? What's a good advisor? How does this guy really have a good track record? What is he telling me? Is it really useful, or am I gonna waste half a year? Is this a good incubator? Should I do it within my country, or should I travel? Should I move for the incubator? These are challenges which are very hard to overcome. So what we can do from our positions is sometimes just to take those couple of steps down and build the next level, do the impact, do the multiplicator, and explain to the incubators, explain to the mentors, the generalists that here's the line, guys, there's a difference here in this field, and with these types of companies, you cannot apply general knowledge. Obviously they will anyway, but still we need to push the information from the top down, because when the startups get to the stage when they talk to the investors, if they don't do the pitch right, if they don't do the numbers right, there's a high chance they're just going to get rejected because some consultant did a bad job and created a stupid pitch deck with impossible numbers, and it's not even going to pass the lowest filter.
Thank you, David. I love that you are so straightforward and you telling the stuff like it is. Thank you very much. Dan, give me your point of view, please.
Thank you, Andre. I'm definitely going to use your questions that you're asking us for some other panels that I'm going to organize, because you're aiming right to the point. So thanks a lot for this. As for the challenges in terms of the general work and coordination here, maybe that's specific here. The region that I'm covering, the Western Balkans, is just a part of the whole region that we are observing here for today's event. But there is a very bad communication between the actors, the stakeholders that are present in the ecosystem. So this information, like that, as David mentioned, about a bad consultant that couldn't recognize or didn't do a job well, it takes a lot of time till you get that information eventually and avoid to make the same mistake again with the same person. So things like that are very common. And on the other hand side, the whole market is overwhelmed with support in terms of money at the early stage of the company's growth. But there is a lack of technical assistance which would make this money being invested in the right way. So on one hand side, we are facing the high population of spoiled startups that are expecting to get some money just based on their fine idea. But eventually there is a very bad track record on the success of how the money being invested or granted to them will actually make any sense. Another thing that we're facing here as a big challenge is you recognize a market. Maybe that's not the case in the other countries of the Central and Eastern Europe, but here the companies that make a little step, a little move, a little traction, and get a couple of fine, good clients abroad, they instantly move their business to, I don't know, Delaware or San Francisco or Dublin or somewhere in other more developed markets. And then we fail to see that growing as a local business. So we kind of try to find this missing middle between the early stage when they really need support, and soon this little child starts walking and it starts running, and I'm not sure if we can help them anymore. But eventually they still struggle to succeed because it's a big leap and a big jump to go to the other market. But generally speaking, it's very hard to find the perfect timing when you're going to intervene with a startup. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. And Andrew?
Agree with what everybody has said. And actually, I was making a bullet pointed list as everyone was talking and thinking it's actually a very challenging time at the moment. There's a lot of challenges. So trying to keep it brief, one that I've seen a lot in the region now is hiring good people, because all startups kind of go through this valley of despair for hiring. You know, in the beginning, you can offer a lot of equity, you get people that are very interested and are talented. But when you get to about 10 people, it's actually very hard to attract good people into your team because you can't offer a lot of money. You also can't offer a lot of equity. And you go through this valley until you get to about, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, and then you start attracting, A players again. But it can be hard to motivate and hire through that. And it's exacerbated in this region in particular by just having a lack of affordable talent and a lot of big corporates like sucking that up as fast as they can go. So I have seen that a lot of struggling with hiring, especially in technical skills in our companies as they grow. And then second is what I would consider kind of the elephant in the room is the macro environment. And it's maybe not affecting early stage now because it's quite a lagging effect. So for example, a lot of funds are struggling to fundraise as much as they did in the past. I mean, we are fundraising now, and often we have a lot of people who are just not in the correct position at this point in time to be cash, to be liquid in their investments. And there's a lot of, uncertainty about the future. And that means that this is starting to have a flow-on effect, that funds are getting closed at smaller amounts. Some people are failing to fundraise, and this will continue on. And so it hasn't hit early stage yet. It will when the capital starts to dry up in maybe 2 or 3 years, which is simply just the lagging effect of what's happening now. But for our larger companies and people who are going on to raise Series A, so they're hurting in two directions. One is it is harder to fundraise because valuations are getting cut. People are holding out, VCs that got their fingers burnt last year. And so we're finding it harder to fundraise at Series A stage for our companies. But then also they're getting hit by the genuine macro environment. When you get to a certain size, things like customers not spending as much actually starts to hit you. So we're feeling that across the portfolio, and I think we're not alone in feeling that.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. And so we got another 8 minutes, and I got a last question, and it will be about you've been speaking about the challenges in investment sphere, and I would like to hear 2 advices from you. One is for leveled up startups who have their customers who are, a little bit more experienced, how to navigate in this kind of challenges for you, how to navigate in this environment. And another advice is for complete beginners. They have idea and they are starting from point zero. So how to build up in this very quick age and an environment, how to start with failures, but going like straight forward and keep yourself motivated, like you, Andrew, said, how to really do baby steps, but with strong legs. Okay, so I would like, Andrew, let's start with you, and we will see.
Okay, for the bigger companies, it's actually coming back to maybe something David said earlier about being spoiled for choice for opportunities of how you can run your business model. So we see companies trying to do all of the things all at once. And I would say now is not the time to be trying to do too much too soon. So for bigger companies, I would just really focus on having a core, like conserving your burn rate maybe a little more than you thought you needed to last year. Build your core out and then start to expand, but don't just throw resources at all the markets thinking that they're all kind of low-hanging fruit and you can raise more money very quickly to double down on that. I think the not really worrying about the next round around the corner because you know it's guaranteed, it can't be taken for granted in this environment. And then for early companies, I would just say to lend on the full depth of the ecosystem. We said in the very first question about all the different players that are popping up, and there's corporates that are doing innovation, and there's Check Invest who are helping out. There's really early tickets that you can now get, grants, and I would really encourage people to understand all the parts of the ecosystem and lend on that as much as you can, rather than trying to go it alone or get straight to getting venture capital money.
Nice, thank you, Andrew. Mark, your advice is?
Yeah, if I may just add on what Andrew said, and he put it really greatly. So I would say for the bigger companies, look, what are your potential risks? So your suppliers, your customers, your ecosystem, where you have the chance that something might go wrong. I know that with all the scale-ups that we've invested, we usually always like to check that the contracts are long-term, not 1 year or half a year or something like that, so that they have stability. I would also say that the burn rate and the runway is extremely important for the bigger companies as well as for the startups. I know that there's a huge opportunity right now because a lot of tech companies obviously are having layoffs. So there's a huge opportunity to get really great talent on board that can help you. And I would say that for the younger entrepreneurs, for the early stage startups, really try to focus on the MRR, so monthly recurring revenue. That's the KPI that will get every investor really on board. And if you have a software as a service business, and if your MRR is growing, that's something that really can give you a huge boost in terms of getting an investment, speeding things up. But yeah, also and really starting to explore and to talk to VCs, accelerators, incubators, angel investors as soon as possible, because you want to get their opinion, you want to get them on board, because it usually takes, I would say, half a year, if not longer, to get an investment. So you really want to kind of tell them, look, I'm here, this is what I'm doing, I'll keep you informed, and let's just get to know each other. So those would be my kind of advices.
Thank you, Mark. Dejan?
Thank you. Well, for both level of maturity of business would be to keep up with the energy and to be more proactive in any way they would like to develop their business. For the early stage businesses, it would be to try not to fall in love with their product or service that would like to place at the market, and to wait for that special moment when their little baby is ready to go out, but rather to promptly get out of the market, test it, show it to the people, and let the others speak about how the great thing that actually is. As for the more mature businesses that are tending to scale, the suggestion would be to invest their time and other resources to constantly redefine their business model, to redefine their business plan, and to tend to constantly reshape the way they're operating, because that will be the only way they will survive the competition, and they will be ready to go out to other markets and also attract other levels of investors that they will be willing to support them on their further journey. Thanks.
Thank you, Dejan. Lubomir, how did you know that I want to ask you?
It's hard to go after those four speakers, because I totally agree with everything with what you said. But from the platform perspective, still for the bigger startups that are already on the market, say, okay, what is your goal? What is your goal at the beginning? I'm going there or not. So be on top of it, and every time ask, okay, I'm going there or not. If not, really find the goal. The second one, not only look for the technology, but as well for the business. So you need to have those two pillars in a good position, not to overcome business or not to overcome the technology. For the startups, what Microsoft can offer, we have a program, Microsoft for startups, and we have their mentors, architects that we can have a look for the projects, for the startups solutions, what our startups are having, and to mentor them from the technological point of view, where they can develop the story, the solution. So those are the primarily what we can offer within this challenging environment where we are facing right now, or what we are facing right now.
Thank you, Lubomir. And David, can you close this last question?
Yeah, that's always a fantastic place right now. Everybody's expecting the smartest thing in the end, and bye-bye, mic drop. So joking aside, I would urge the later stage companies to still keep what they had when they were young, when they were raising the seed round. Many companies that I see, when they raise their growth capital, they kind of think, well, we already made it. You know, we've raised the seed, we've raised the Series A, and we're done. And you're looking at that and thinking like, what the hell? You know, the game is not over. You know, the game is over when you have an IPO. The game is over when somebody buys you. The game is over when you do the buyback or whatever the investment terms are in the early stages. And it's a tricky time because the companies often grow at a very, very quick rate. They get many awards. You know, there's a lot of ego pumping on LinkedIn. Yeah, you're awesome. Everybody's asking you to talk at this conference, that conference. And it goes back to actually being humble, same as in the beginning. Find the people who tell you the unpopular opinions, the things that you don't want to hear. And if it does have to happen, then prove them wrong. Now, most of the smart people, most of the smart advisors are happy to be proven wrong, that you actually do have the data, do have the stuff to make it happen. For the young companies, for the early stages, the advice is that the investors are just normal people. As they walk on the street and they use the toilet as any other person. So don't focus too much on pleasing the investors. You know, if you have a good product, the investors will come anyway. If they're not interested at this point, if they're not really replying in very, very quickly, or it's taking a lot, then maybe your product needs the love. So understand the sales, understand the growth, hire talented people, focus on selling the product to your customers, and the investors will come. Mic drop.
Lovely ending. Lovely ending. So we are run out of time. Thank you very much for all of our investors who were Andrew Gray, David Kowalski, Dejan Tonik, Lubomir Banjuch, and Mark Cullen. Thank you very much, guys, for your time, for your advices, for your opinions. And thank you for your work you are doing, because as we heard, all of us, you're doing a great job. So keep doing that, be motivated. And if you need some startups and so on, just look to Impact Hub and acceleration programs in here. We got some, so we will definitely be happy to connect you with some of our startups. And if anybody else got the acceleration program and so on, maybe you have met your future investor. So just keep them on LinkedIn and follow them and so on. Thank you very much, guys. Have a beautiful morning. And we will go to the second panel. Thank you. Okay. And the second panel is about the startups. So we will be hearing from actual startups who are going through the acceleration program right now. And This panel is called Climate Startups Under the Spotlight. So all of the startups will be getting some questions about how you are going through the program, and then some questions I made up for them on it. It will be really on spot, you know. So I will try to do my best to really catch up with all the questions, because we got, again, just 45 minutes, but I guess we will make it. So the representatives of this panel are VCG and Jon Gorjup. VCG finds targeted solutions for companies and entire value chains in seconds, turning industrial residual materials into valuable resources. Another project is Klimatik and Duško Radulović. Klimatik uses expert-led climate science, machine learning, and AI to give the most precise risk calculations for climate hazards up to the year 2100. Then it is a Nettle with Radek Eliáš, and they do everything, like literally everything from nettles. Then it is Perfect Air with Martin Malčík. They are changing the way we look at the air we breathe. And then there is Nuotvo, and it's Marko Brkljačić. I hope that I didn't, I spelled it right. Thank you, nice. And they do smart active panels that cut the carbon footprint. So guys, welcome to the second panel. And I got some general questions. Again, I will ask you to be really precise, brief, and so on, because we really got only 45 minutes. And for the audience, I would like to ask you if you can use the Slido, because I'm looking at it and there is no question. So I would like to give you some answers. So if you have a time, look at the Slido, write down the questions, and I will give it to our projects. So let's go for the first question. And of course, I need to ask you, what did the EIT Climate-KIC ClimAccelerator Beyond program help you achieve till now? So we will start with Jon from VCG.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jon, and I'm the CEO and project lead at VCG AI. So when we joined the program, I think since then, one of the key results has been that with our mentor, Andy, from TDI Impact Ventures, we were able to focus and narrow down sort of on the key business opportunities that we have ahead of us, because our solution has a wide range of applications, but as discussed already in the previous panel, in times where focus is needed, I think that this is something we highly appreciate, and working weekly with the mentor and narrowing down on the key segments and key business opportunities we have ahead of ourselves that will allow us, to generate the traction needed to raise serious money for scale up in 2023.
Thank you. So Marko, can you tell us your achievements till now?
Thanks to the ClimAccelerator Beyond, we managed to go further and get closer to our pilot testing phase. So we're actually building the beta prototype, and it has added wind in our sails, so that we can move forward and do something to repair the damages that we have done to the environment, and especially regarding global warming and climate changes.
Okay, thank you, Marko. Radomír, can you tell us your achievements during the program? Okay.
Thank you. Our achievement is like that we have a really great mentor. So with discussion with him, we was able to achieve products which we promise in this acceleration. So we have already Pesto from Nettle. we have some syrup. We find somebody who made the clothes from nettle. So we start really thinking if we are able to make a fiber from stinging nettle in the Czech Republic, or where we will made it. So now we are actually focusing how to finish the food product and the food supplements from nettle. And then in the next year, first quarter, we want to start preparing, like actually now we are preparing the expansion in Dutch region. From Accelerator, we have a money contact from on another startups, and probably like yesterday I sit with one of my investor, so helping with this. So there is like a lot of help which we receive from Impact Hub and from this program, and I hope that we will continue with this in this journey.
Thank you very much, Radomir. Martin.
So, thank you. My name is Martin Malčík. I am a CEO of Perfect Air company. Our main product is a network of Perfect Air quality stations that we created and managed. And concerning cooperation with KIC and with Impact Hub, we had at first great mentors that we can discuss important questions, especially from the branch of business and selling and product. And at second, we gained broad point of view about climate, about problems with climate, about we do hard work about our impact forecast. So I would say that beside these business things, we gained some broad view on very important and difficult problems of the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And Duško? Can you hear us? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear. So thank you very much for joining me and our startup Climatic to demo day. So we are at the final stage of acceleration, and we are now at the market with our climate risk application called Climatic. So we are now having, let's say, real speed up in the last 3 months with our project, which we worked since 2019 on fintech and insurtech application. And so we are launching and having really great experience with Impact Hub Prague and Belgrade and their consultants. So again, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Duško. And okay, now we are going to have personalized questions for every single project we have in here. I will start with VCG. And so the question is, you have created a great platform where you are connecting the right companies and the right people. And what is the ultimate argument that will convince basically anyone that they should join your platform?
Okay, so what we have is we are facilitating sort of a big data solution that is able to find the right targeted partners for implementing sustainable models and sustainable, let's say, material exchange models between companies wherever they are. So with our classification algorithms for companies, we can find the right partners, whether you are a company in Frankfurt, in North Germany, or you are a company in Slovenia or in Serbia or wherever. So with the database that we have of millions of companies, we can find the right local partners wherever you are. And we are also now generating probably the largest database there is of all of the possible solutions for material exchange and for technologies that you can implement to enable material exchange with other companies in Europe or basically worldwide. So this way, we can help really thousands of companies figure out, how to reduce their costs related to waste material management, as well as how to start profiting from those materials, how to make them into valuable resources. So right now, with the first clients that we have, we are seeing really like the financial impact of our solution on their operations can be in the hundreds of thousands of euros per year. So we can really deliver both profitability to the companies, but at the same time, we can really help them on their mission to more sustainable practices and compliance, both with the market requirements and with the regulatory requirements.
Okay, so the profitability and this compliance is the ultimate argument which convinced everybody that you are the partner they should work with.
So I think it's a combination of our approach, so really having a localized approach, but at the same time having this, making sure that in the time when costs are really rising, where profitability is squeezed for a lot of manufacturing companies, so our target is mostly the manufacturing space, that they can improve their profitability and at the same time, improve the sustainable performance that they have across their manufacturing lines.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Another question will be for Duško from Climatic. Can you give us some kind of prediction of how climate change will affect markets like real estate, food, products, and maybe even the labor prices? Are you able to do that?
Actually, we are discovering every day the possible variety of usage of our climatic platform. What are we now focusing and what are we concentrating on are asset prediction of climate risks. So climatic is for each geolocation globally on Earth. It's available up to 2,100. So you can predict up to 8 risks right now. We are planning by the end of 2024 to reach more than 20 risks. But for now, it's amazing what we saw, what was happening. Just for short, let's say, short situation happened early this May. Our major scientific officer, who's also a climatologist, he said it's going to be really, really hot and lots of forest fires in Portugal, Spain, and France, and it was like that. So we predicted that situation, unfortunately. But the most important thing is what we saw when we started with development of our application. We noticed that lots of owners of assets, and when I said owners, most of them are banks or insurance, and they are owners of assets, our own assets. They don't know what they are into it, and they don't know how to evaluate the risk and how to make reservations for the possible damages they will have from climate risk. Especially forest fires, especially sea level rising, and so we work a lot with that. We are also collaborating with European Space Agency, so we have cutting edge technology and data provided by the satellites. And now when we start to work for the last year with insurance and banks, there are huge possibilities for them. And this is just one sector. You asked me for the other sectors. We are planning to work more closely on agriculture sector. Now there have lots of high-tech applications for management, but they are also not covering climate. They are covering meteorological issues and applications, but the climate predictions are not included. So what we use to do and what we are using, it's a methodology which can actually provide you a tool for management, how to manage your own asset and make the better reservations or the prediction what to do with that asset in the future.
Okay, thank you, Duško.
Welcome.
And now for Nettle. So Radomir, when you told me what you can make from Nettle, I was like, yeah, this is the superfood, next superfood. You know, it's amazing that you can do almost everything from that. That's amazing. And I was thinking after that hemp was kind of similar thing, you know, that you could use it in food industry, in textile, even in the industry like technologically and so on. Mm-hmm. And it had the similar potential, but I guess with hemp it didn't work out. You know, it's not that famous. It's not that we all using hemp for something. And I would like to ask you if you feel that anyone or anything could be holding the Nettle back. You know, because you have big plans, I know that, and I would like to know if there is something it can, you know, be challenging to go over.
Like if something can stop my plans and like happen that like we will not succeed, if I understood you well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there could be a lot of things like from market that people will not like the taste of nettle, or I don't know, like you can pick up anything, and it's actually on my side and on side of my team that this not happened. So we must to find out how to prove it, how to go on the market, how to, you know, find out what people want, what the market want, and deliver it on the market. And if you say that the story could be similar to hemp, so there are the few things like what we use for hemp. Like there is one first thing. For some reason, hemp is like out of the law, because like we use weed for smoking, and then like this was the first stuff, and then this create a situation that like a hemp is not so much used, or not used so often. And the research on the hemp in one point or like in some time like was stopped. So actually now is the time when like we again start focusing on hemp and how to use the hemp. So I'm thinking that with nettle the situation is kind of different, because there is no stop, there is no law which tell you cannot use the nettle. And actually, we are in better position because we know that there are already some research. In the weekend, I use AI to help me do research for this day, for show to investor, and we can use hemp for really health stuff, like for skin, for like taking blood pressure down, some sugar in the blood, so it's like helping for like diabetes. For another things, we can make from nettle some bioplast, composite plast. We can make fibers. We can make biomethane, and what is the rest? Like it's like you know, like some humus for like plants. So actually, I see the situation differently, and it's just only on our side to push it through and every time find the right point how to, you know, roll on the market and scale it in the right way. So now we are in a food. Then we continue in food supplement and fibers, and meanwhile we looking for how to make energy like a biogas and fertilizer, because this is the same process. So we actually have a tool in our hand to help European Union and our countries to go through this crisis of energy and material and everything. And the goal is in front of us.
Okay, thank you, Radomir. Thank you very much. And another question for Perfect Air and Martin. So Martin, do you already work with municipalities, and what has been the biggest change based on data from your products?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. We used to work with municipalities. We started to work with them about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a very interesting branch, or we are able to do interesting business with them, with some exceptions, as some municipality like to show to the inhabitants that air in his or her town or village is very good, but in fact some municipalities, even in the places where air quality is not good enough, don't want to show the right situation about air quality. So they don't want at first sight, they don't want to use our solution, but usually after some consultation, we are able to convince them that better is to open information and to show to the people how quality air is, in fact. And with municipalities also very important target users are schools, as usually municipalities and schools are joined. Okay, and excuse me, second question was, second part of question?
The second part of question was, what has been the biggest change based on data of your product? So you got some data, and the biggest change, municipalities did, schools, something.
Okay. It of course very important to behave day to day according to air quality. So for instance, school teacher will not go outdoor for some sports with children if air quality is not good enough. Some municipality can have information where in the village is biggest air pollution, source of air pollution. Usually by heating the house or by factory in the town or in the village. So they can solve the situation with polluters. And of course, concerning simple people, if you will have information about worse quality outdoor, you will not run, for instance. If you have predictions about air quality, you can have plan your time. So I would say that it can help to many users information like this.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And now I have a question for Marko from Nuotvo. I have been reading your website, and my feeling about your product is that you found a product that could be an alternative for the plant. Is that right or not?
No, it's not. It's not an alternative. It's the thing is that we are our product is helping all the plants. I mean, the weed and the trees and the shrubberies and the flower, etc. Because there is something called the turnover day, and it happens every year. It happens earlier and earlier. What does this mean? It means that we put approximately 2 times more CO2 in the atmosphere than what the planet itself can absorb. So we are helping the planet. We're not seeing the plants as a competition. We're seeing them as partners on our journey to clean the air from the surplus of CO2 that we have put in the atmosphere since the beginning of the first industrial revolution. I mean, we have levels of CO2 in the atmosphere that haven't been the same for a couple of million years. Back when the Carboniferous period of Earth we had the same amount of CO2. Now we have the same amount, but we put it out in a couple of 100 years, not in a couple of million years. So this situation is unsustainable, and this is why we developed NUO2 to help the nature and the whole way of nature to absorb and recycle all the CO2 and all the other carbon emissions that are in the atmosphere.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you for clearing that for me, because I was really been convinced that I will not need the plants, because I love the plants in the interiors, you know, but I was like, yeah, if I buy this product, I don't need the plants. Or if I got like small apartment, I can put there some of your desk and it will be instead of the plants. So thank you for clearing that up.
No, we're definitely not a replacement for plants. I mean, we need plants, we need food. If we don't have plants, we don't need anything. So there's no market.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Yeah, thank you, Marco. I'm sorry I was muted. Also, I got the information that Eat Me Up and Maria, you should be on the different link. You know, here is the second panel discussion, and your one-to-one meeting is on the other link. I guess Katarzyna or Marek should send you the other link. So please use that other Zoom to meet up. Okay, thank you. And okay, second round of questions. I got 2 more generals, but I will let them for the ending. And we are going back to VCG. And yeah, I would like to know when and if we will see you, let's say, in Czech Republic and in other countries of the consortium.
Okay, great question. So right now, you know, since our solution is very, let's say, digital-based and scalable, right now our key markets are Germany, and as well as then Austria, Switzerland, Slovenia, and the Balkan region. So here is where next year we are planning to do the most of the activities. So in Serbia, we are already quite active, but also looking for other opportunities in Czech Republic or in other countries as well. So, but yeah, for right now, our key is Germany, Slovenia, Austria, and then Serbia. Those are our key markets right now.
And another question, why did you pick those countries?
Those, for example, Germany is where the market is really the most ready as we see it in our field. Plus the companies have a lot of regulatory pressures and the capital to invest in change. So that is why Germany is our key focus. Slovenia, that's where we are from. So this is one of the key reasons. And then it's basically where we have the most partnerships and most, let's say, network established for deployment. That is why other countries like Serbia, Austria, Switzerland are interesting for us right now.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Thank you for your answers. Climatic. A second question. So, Duško, you're ready. What questions would you like companies and municipalities to ask themselves to start taking climate data into account and base at least some of their investment and innovation decisions on that data?
Well, actually, there are not all of them, but most of them are using that data. They started. Most of the signatures of Covenant of Mayors and those local municipalities which they have SECAPs, they have climate measures. And actually what they do, they are using EU funds or making some projects to reach those measures. And what we noticed, they don't know how to measure the influence and the influence of climate risk, and if their measures are actually working. So they don't know how to make review of the measure, is it efficient or not? So what we are trying to do, we are piloting 5 cities in Croatia. So we try to reach all kind of cities. So we have a capital, city of Zagreb, we have island of Tres, and 2 smaller cities. So they are piloting climatic, and they have for the first time they can see actually are the measures are working. So they can see how the climate change can influence their projects. So if, as a concrete answer to your question is yes, definitely we would like that local municipalities try to use the climate data more. But as we saw, they are just now making a habit, because they weren't aware that such data are accessible, and they are not sure how they will use it in their, let's say, in their mutual businesses.
Okay, Duško, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go for a second question for Nettle. I would like to know how and if you do the outreach, and what kind of promotion are you going to do to differentiate yourself from other supplements and superfood?
Really hard question. The first thing is that we are now focusing on vegetarian and vegan. So this is like where we see and base data. We use behavior, what is open on their website, and so they have a lot of data and like marketing and behavioral data. How we can focus on where is our targeting group, and the second part of the answer is that we are not just only focusing on food. So food for us is just only, let's say, low-hanging fruits, what we are able to reach really quickly, easily, and make some fame and marketing. But we see that the potential it's in material, in plastic, in energy, and all this stuff. Now is energy crisis. So like if we are able to use all the rest of the nettle or like another plants, so we can really make a lot of energy or another materials. So like it's not just only about food. Still, we will use this like a strategy about superfood because it's okay. It's trendy. Like why not use it? why throw it opportunity in basket? Are you fine with this answer?
No, I'm not actually, because there is a lot of small brands and companies and so on, and in superfood, like you said, it's a trend. Right now everybody wants to be fit, everybody exercise, everybody started to think about what they eat and so on, and it's overwhelming. You got advertising, a lot of advertising. You got supplements in tablets and whatsoever, and I would like to know how Nettle will be different, because, for example, me, I would like to, support you to really buy your products. But if you will be using same advertisement as the other companies, maybe I will not find you, So I would like to know if there is something specific which you will be focused on when you will be advertising Nettle to the whole market.
It's really hard to answer, because how I say before, I told you, we'll use this data from behavior, and we will focusing just on this specific group when we know that we will hit, and we will sell our product really easily, and from this point we will scale it up on a site. So we know that our product is not for everybody. It's like a first thing what like a startup is must to accept and admit your product is not for everybody, and you must work with your targeting group. So if you won't buy our product, and if you have something for taste, we can discuss it. If it's for you, if you want to try it. When you will be in Prague, I can give you taste the Coke or like a syrup one, and this is we know that we are not for everybody.
Okay, fine. I will not grill you anymore. On any other question?
It's fine.
Okay. So thank you for your answers, and I got another one for Martin. So, I was thinking if the clean air is so important for our lives. Should everybody have your product, your sensors, and think about the quality of air at home? Should we all buy your sensors? Tell me.
Yeah, it would be nice business case, but I would like to say that on the contrary of Nettle business, air is definitely for everybody. We deal with especially with outdoor air, and in fact you don't have to buy our stations. You can only use our mobile applications to have good enough information about air quality in your area or in area that you plan to visit, like in the holiday and so on. And of course, you can also have, if we concern about indoor air quality, you definitely should buy our sensor, but it's not expensive, so it's a piece of cake to buy it, and you will have enough information about quality in your room. So. But definitely breathing is for everybody. So air quality is for everybody. It's from this point of view, it's very good business.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And I will go for Marco. And the question is, can your boards be used outdoors? That's the first part of the question. And do you plan, if it's not, do you plan to develop one that can be used outdoors? And how long can your product clean the air?
Marco? Yes. So we are part of our next development will be the outdoor version. Of course, we are in the works, but it's just not ready. And our product has a work life of about 15 years, plus or minus. So yeah, it can go on for a long time. The solar panels have the same lifespan. So we're a totally clean tech startup, a clean tech solution. It's like, it's going to happen, and we're going to decarbonize the buildings.
Okay, and do you have also the sensors like Perfect Air does to measure the how clean the air is in that area you are using your desks or boards? Sorry.
NUO2 is a complex product, so we have all kind of electronics that need to monitor the whole process. It's not only about sensor. You need also relays and microchips and whatever the embedded team members have put inside to control and manage the whole process. It's not if it was a simple process, everybody would do it, but you can't substitute plants in an easy way. They have been developing from millions of years. You can't invent something that is equally good in months or a couple of years. You need to have something that is a bit more complex and a bit difficult to explain in a couple of sentences.
Okay. And when we were talking about your outdoor boards, so you are planning to combine it with photovoltaic panels or not?
We could combine it. That's a pivot we could make. It's a pivot we could make. It's just photovoltaics is good because it's free energy and it's almost zero in carbon footprint. It's better than using electricity from a coal power plant like Germany is doing, because they say, hey, we're green, so let's fire up all the coal power plants that we have. So, I don't see, maybe they have different glasses of different colors, so they see the coal as green, but to me, it makes more sense to use photovoltaics to produce energy than to burn coal.
Yeah, definitely like that. It's much more cleaner and nicer. So Perfect Air can speak up for these solutions. So thank you very much, guys, for your answers. I hope that you had fun, that the questions weren't completely out of focus and so on. And thank you very much. Keep doing your great job. I hope that you are enjoying to be in ClimAccelerator Beyond acceleration program. And yeah, good luck to you and your great work. And I believe in you. And I hope that we will see each other in person or online very soon. So thank you very much. And we are going to have 15 minutes break. And then we have the third panel with our alumni projects and representatives of acceleration programs. So in 11:30, we are back online. So keep the attention on us, but take a 15-minute break. Go take some water or coffee or something, and we will see each other in 15 minutes. Okay? See ya.
Bye.
So hello, everyone. Good morning again from me. We are on the third part of our discussion panels on demo day of ClimAccelerator Beyond 2022, which is final event of our acceleration program. The third panel is about the current challenges and trends in innovation and acceleration programs. And it will really be about discussing different perspectives on the topic of innovation and acceleration. We have representatives from alumni of ClimAccelerator from last year, and as well as we have representatives from the consortium and the leaders of specific programs. So let me welcome here Pavel Jurus from Big Terra, also Magda Prunerová from Impact Hub Prague, who is the representative of ClimAccelerator here in Czech Republic. Then it is Martin Bogatin, who is the consortium partner, and Nenad Moslavac from Impact Hub Belgrade. Okay, so those will be our speakers. And I will go straight ahead to first questions. They will be all for Pavel, because I would like to speak with our alumni. How is he feeling a year after actual experience of ClimAccelerator and so on. So, Pavel, how was your experience in the ClimAccelerator Beyond last year?
Thank you, Andrzej, and hello to everybody. Well, the experience, it was kind of special because it's basically for us, it was we've been in, we started in the incubator, and we had the interaction with the mentors before, and so we knew that it can be very helpful. But basically, this was the first time where we were really in the community, I would say, of like-minded, not only mentors, but also like other startups. So it was the first time that I really felt that they think and they have similar values as us. So that was maybe like one of the most important experiences for me.
Okay, next question will be, will have two parts, okay? So what have changed? How did the acceleration program help you to develop your startup? And what has changed, from the beginning of last year acceleration program till now?
I think in the end, the main thing that acceleration did to us is it's really, of course, that's the point of acceleration. It makes you think, it makes you work even harder, and it forces you to sometimes when you just do the things again and again in the company, in basically in small group, you are locked in the box. So the thing which helped us to, for example, we realized how big the non-financial reporting, how big is it becoming for the whole world, and I would say we slightly changed the emphasis in what we are doing, and so currently we have year after the accelerator, we have just now we are finishing the pilot of service for tracking of the carbon in regenerative agriculture, and that's basically the idea which has its seeds in the last year's accelerator. So I would say that is the direct consequence of that, even if it's maybe a little bit more distance, but that's I could definitely track the beginning of this idea and the realization that it is important to the accelerator.
Okay, thank you for that answer. And the third, and I guess not last question, I will give you, but tell to the audience, to the projects who are watching us, why would you recommend to the other projects to be part of program like ClimAccelerator Beyond?
I think it comes to what I've already mentioned. Of course, nobody will do the work for you. You always it's on you, on your startup to develop the business, to develop the product. But accelerator can help you with it by just making you think harder, making you maybe think outside of the box, because you will get into connection with other people who are very knowledgeable in their areas and they have all the experience. You will get also getting and just seeing other startups, even if they do sometimes they do something slightly related, sometimes it's something very different, but even it can be very inspiring. Just for example, seeing different sorts of business models, having a discussion about that, and that's basically the idea of accelerator, to accelerate you by giving you this contact, this help. And what is special for this accelerator is that you will, if you are in a climate tech or in area and topics which are close to climate, you will be basically in the company of people and in the ecosystem of people that share your values, which is not quite usual outside of that. So you will also get good inspiration and feedback specifically from people who have some knowledge in the area of climate and climate-based businesses.
Okay, Pavel, thank you very much. And now we are going to give some questions and answers, hopefully, from our representatives of acceleration programs and representatives of programs like this. And also, Pavel, if you have something to add on to our answers of those representatives, just raise your hand, and I will give you the word. Or if you will disagree, do the same. Okay, so that's the deal between us. And okay, so first things first, I would like to ask to Magda, Martin, and Nenad. First question. And it is, what are the specific challenges in the impact startup scene in your regions? And because Magda is the only woman in here, I will give you the first word to her.
Well, thank you very much. I am happy to be here. Okay, if we are talking about our region, we are representing Czech Republic over here. So let me talk about Czech Republic specifically. In general, what are the challenges? I would say that we are a nation of a lot of ideas and I think very creative people in general. The challenge very often is the business readiness. That means that very often we have great ideas, but we are not ready to present them at the market. And this is exactly why the acceleration programs are here, especially in the impact field. I think it's even more visible to see that very often we have issues to actually measure the impact and then to communicate the impact to the public. So that's the specifics for us, and I will pass the word to the others.
Okay, so Nenad, I would like to see your or hear your point of view on the specific challenges in your region.
Yes, thank you. Well, obviously, I'm coming from Ipaha, Belgrade, so Serbia, but Serbia and the rest of the Western Balkans are not part of the EU. So I think there's a little bit different angle to it. And while we are seeing, across the Western Balkans, a variety of green tech solutions, especially in agriculture and sustainable eco-friendly design. At the same time, it seems that the investment readiness of these companies is far from actually being investable. And working with startups in any field, and especially in this field, what is very, very important for them is to access very early, at a very early stage, that funding that will help them to pivot the product or the service that they're developing and to test it, And obviously with the lots of lack of regulations that are where the whole EU and the whole Europe is moving, obviously the countries that are not part of the EU are moving slowly. But at the same time, that's actually the potential for the finding different solutions or ideas that need to be tested and to see how they can be adapted. So I would say that in this part of emerging markets such as Serbia and the Western Balkans, we also find the great ideas, really great talent that we are surrounded with. But there is a sort of a lack of investors' patience because clean tech in general is long time, it takes a long time, and it's expensive. And investors like things to be fast and quick, right? So not really thinking sustainable in long term. And that's why we're very happy to be part of this accelerator program, because I think we were able to help in this process, understanding how important the work is. Thank you.
Okay, Nenad, thank you very much for your answer. And Martin, now it's your turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to speak on behalf of Slovenia as well. So in Slovenia, the ecosystem for startups is very developed. We have a lot of incubators, accelerators, and everything, but the climate topic is still lagging a bit behind. Now, the last few years, we see a huge increase in popularity of this kind of projects, and the startups are just heading there. So this is what Nenad was also saying. The development of these startups is not at the level ready yet for investors. So we are trying to bridge this gap to the investors by supporting them with the Climate Accelerator and other funds, like other accelerators like this. And we want to support them long enough to let them grow, find their business model, find their paying customers, and then deliver them to the investors. Because investors are all about impact and everything. They like to hear it, but investment is basically in the end done by business results. So we need to do both business results with investment impact on the environment. So, but here the European landscape is really pushing right now, and we see a lot of positive changes in this area.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much. And let's go, actually, we will continue a little bit about what you have been speaking, because I would like to know, what is your experience in attracting the investors for startups? Because all of you are working in an environment where you are connecting startups with investors, or you are helping to prepare the startups for investment rounds and so on. So I would like to know, what is your experience in attracting? Nenad was talking about it as well. And what is actually successful rate? For example, out of 10 startups, how many are you able to connect and be successful that investors really invest in it? Okay. So first, I want to hear, for example, Nenad.
Hold on, get me. Yeah, so, connecting with investors is always a challenge, of course, because, I think that especially we who are playing in the hat of accelerator, or incubators or just kind of like a community centers, right? We are always in the process of trying to match the two. So in one way that we like to say, we like to protect our startup companies so they don't get hurt so early because they're still young and they're at the very early stage. At the same time, you want to also, protect our investors that actually they don't, waste their time and money into something that maybe really is not worthy of their time, But again, as I said in the previous part, the challenge here is that most of the investors, invest by default. Investors are looking how to make money, right? So, finding the impactful investors it's very challenging because in order to create impact, they need to create, something sustainable in the back that can actually help them to reach to the satisfaction they want. And obviously, it's usually only in the second round when they actually realize, oh, well, maybe I want to make some impact as well. Most of the investors that we come across here, are maybe not as impact aware, I would say. The challenge here and what we, I think, are successfully achieving is trying to present how can a company that has a potential business model has more than that, because at the end, it's not just about money. Because no money will be worth to anyone unless we have our planet and our surrounding, which we are. So in that sense, I think that very often it takes it's like a dance. It takes a little bit, to dance with both and to understand, try to explain to the startup founders that, of course, the investors and they look how to make money, but it's up to us to help you how to explain to them that there's an impact behind the business model that you're presenting with a big B, of course, but there's an impact behind it. At the same time, with investors, we're trying to explain, well, this is, a startup founder, and obviously they love it, their product or service, but there's also potential, something more than just making money from it. It takes a long time. Obviously, investing in startups is not, it's a lottery ticket. So unfortunately, investing in our planet is not a lottery ticket. I think the end is kind of like very clear. If you don't do something around it, it's not going to be better. So I think in that sense, we are in a better off to help this connection and improve investments in this field. Thank you.
Okay, Nina, thank you very much for wrapping that up. And the point of view of Martin is?
Hi, yeah. In our site in Slovenia, at Bogatin and at Transformation Lighthouse, which is where we're working together on this project, we are very good connected with investors. We have investment connections with Croatia, with Firush Capital, which is direct because the founder of Bogatin is also the founder of Firush Capital. And then we also have a good network with the business angels of Slovenia and other institutions that are investing in startups. But here, as you said, about the investment, how can we prepare the startups to get to the investment and be successful with the investor speech? I think this is the most important thing. We try to give them tools. We try to prepare them with their pitching on what should they look like, what should they address, what should they focus on. But at the end, it's all about on the startups, because it's you can see pretty straightly clear when the program starts, those that are pushing, those that are pulling your shoulder just to get connections, get in touch with some people, feeling always wanting feedback. Those are the most successful ones. So we want to prepare them to get with the investors. But like we said, in our program, we have a lot of early stage startups. And this year, actually, we have a lot of product startups that are willing to go bypass the investor. So we give them enough time for them to build their products and launch themselves with their products. So in terms of sales and in terms of loans that they can achieve. So this is the situation in our site.
Okay, thank you. And Magda, your experience with attracting the investors?
I have nothing much to add to what was already said, but maybe let me have a look on it from a little bit different angle. In general, I would say that all of us have, very good experience with attracting investors in general, to see the projects, to see the startups, and to talk to the people. And we could all see it at the panel discussion number 1, where the investors came over and shared their stories. So that's one thing. We have the attraction of the investors. Then, what we already said, we have the mental readiness of the startups to actually start the dialogue with the investors. It's not only about the product readiness or the service readiness, it's also about the mental part of it. So when they are ready to actually meet and really discuss, let's call it the business, and we are talking a lot about impact investments and so on, but it's at the end, it's still about the business. It may take a little bit longer time. The ClimAccelerator in general is a 1-year program. In the next year, 23-24, it's going to be a 2-year program. So I believe that the successful rate may increase within the time of the acceleration program as it is. But in general, we are in touch with our alumni, and we had some of them over here today. So you can see that the dialogue can take a little bit longer than actually what is the time span of the ClimAccelerator as itself. So the acceleration part is really supporting to start the dialogue, to introduce the investors to the startups and the startups to the investors' world. And that's what we are actually doing. And I can see that Pavel from Victora would like to say something. So if we can switch to him.
Yes, I just want to confirm basically what the Magdalena and Nenad and also Martin, what they said. It's first of all, talking to investors it's not the question. It's not short-term thing to just to meet investor and get investment. Each startup is maybe a bit different in this kind, but we are right now at the stage where we are just beginning to talk to investors, basically, because now I feel that we are finally in the position when we can actually benefit from the investment and to really scale the business more quickly and better. And even then, what I really want to have is to have a network of investors that there is some long-term relationship even before investment, that we know about each other. They understand where we are at our journey, what is our trajectory, where we are going to, and that the investment from their side is well informed, basically, and then the relationship has the chance to be great for the future. And what Nenad said, and also Magdalena, it's a business at the first, like that's the most important here. So it's difficult to build successful business alone, and if it's a business which also is going to have positive impact, so it's like it doubles, or I don't know, it's like multiplies the difficulty here. So, but sometimes, at least what I see among fellow startuppers, it's sometimes difficult for people from startups to get into this mindset, because there is a lot of great ideas, but people think about like doing good things with good positive impact, but maybe they pay less attention if there is a large growth potential, if it's going to be successful business. And really the mindset should be that to have the impact, the better the business, the larger the impact. And that's something which also can be helped through this accelerator.
Okay, thank you for adding on. And yeah, it's really nice that we can see that for startup, it is they are focused mainly, if they got product or service or something like that, mainly on their impact, because that's where the fun is, you know, and they should be also focusing on the business part. And on the other hand, the investors are focused on the business part, and they should be looking also on the impact. And in between, we got this acceleration programs and incubators and so on, who have this the burden of saying all the time to startups, hey, it's not just about the impact. You need to think about your business plan. And to the investors, hey, guys, it's not just about making money and be rich, but it is also about the impact, you know? So this is really like difficult position for the organizations who are in between, but it is really important to constantly speaking with both sides and reminding them this is important, and altogether it can be the working system, ecosystem, who is able to make money, do the impact, and make like this planet livable again, you know, because we did a lot of bad things, and now we need to repair it. And the last question for three of our representatives of acceleration programs, which I would like to be really brief, like 2-3 words, maybe one sentence, is what would you recommend to the exciting startups from stage 2 and 3 based on your experience? What is the message you would like to give them to, you know, keep their motivation or, you know, have attention or something like that? So Magda, can you start it?
2 words, that's very difficult. But in general, I think the main thing is don't give up. You know, you just started your mission. And the second, I would call it a wish, stay in touch.
Nice. Thank you. Nenad?
Yes, thank you. So I would say to all startups, think how can your product or service change how are you changing the mindset of your users by improving your product or service? Let me reiterate that. So I would say, think how you can change the mindset of your users or your customers by improving your product or service. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Martin?
Okay. So let's not repeat ourselves. Of course, I want you to not give up. This is the area of startups that it's going to be growing exponentially, even for the corporates. But sometimes what I am missing is the bigger picture. Be brave. Have real growth opportunities, because what we know investors also are looking for is big growth opportunities. Sometimes we are too local in our solutions. Just think bigger, be brave, and of course, you're on the right path.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And now I got like 3 questions for all of you. And the first of them will be about the future of acceleration programs. And I'm really glad that we have also Pavel here as an alumni, because I would like to know what is the future of acceleration programs. Do you feel that they need to change? Because, you know, the environment and the situation is all the time changing. Is it possible that acceleration programs need to be changed, like in comparison of the environment, or they can stay like they are right now? Or what is the future? What is the curse? What should be the future benefits of acceleration programs? Because when I was like, it's 5 years ago. I've been through the acceleration program. And for me, it was enough because I was a beginner. I got the info I needed. But it's 5 years. And I think like I see acceleration programs here in Impact Hub in Czech Republic. And I can see that a lot of startups improved. They got much more information than I did before. They have the access to find the information as well. They got a much easier way how to get the mentor or expert and so on. Where is the future? Is it online and connecting through the whole Europe? Or is it one-to-ones with regional, experts and so on? Where is the future? What is the course for acceleration programs? Martin, can I start with you?
Of course, why not? Yeah, of course, we're always changing. The accelerator program is changing. Like Magdalena already said, next year we're going to the 2-year program instead of 1 year because we feel that better support through longer time is more important than these short bursts of knowledge that we bombard the startups with. Yeah, what is the future? I don't know. In our case, in Slovenia, we want to be international because you cannot scale your startup in a 2 million market, right? Even if you're taking one, especially if you take the niche, like we tell you to, pick your niche, pick your perfect customer, and then you have 30 people in Slovenia. So yes, we want to go international. We want to offer a lot of support in growing all European. And I think we can still do more about this in the consortium level. So we connect between each other more through their, let's say, we have a startup that deals with this and this. Can we contact them with companies in Czech Republic that are also searching for this kind of stuff? So I think there's still huge opportunity there. Like you said, Czech is a big market. The startups are getting more smart. That's true. Because we have so many incubators, so many startup accelerators. All the startups we get went through at least 1 or 2 programs already. So they know the basic stuff. Now it's our business to let them expand and give them the platform to grow. So with a little bit of funds we can provide, this is a good opportunity.
Thank you, Martin. Now, Pavel, please tell me what would be interesting for you as an alumni. What would be interesting to see in acceleration programs in future? And would you like to be a participant of acceleration program, or do you want to step up to be, for example, the expert consultant or a mentor?
Well, that's an interesting thing. Like my feeling is that I can be both, even maybe both at the same time, because of course at each stage everybody needs different things. So like my feeling is that I have some experience. Definitely, I have quite a bit of technical experience in some fields and areas where can I be helpful, and I also have some experience for maybe early stage startups. Just telling them what works for us, what worked, what didn't work, where we maybe wasted too much time, too many resources, etc. So that's definitely some feedback which I'm happy to give and to help others. And on the other hand, I also feel that we could definitely use some help, and but yes, it's different at every stage. So maybe for us, it's right now it's really, for example, help with going abroad, with internationalization, in getting maybe some pilot client outside of Czech Republic, and starting this could be quite specific, but it could be also something which is interesting for other startups. So then suddenly it can be a topic for acceleration. And also, I'd like to add that as a startup founder, my email address found its way to perhaps some databases and mailing list, and I'm basically swamped by offers for acceleration from all around the world. A lot of them is online, so it's easily accessible. Some of them require to travel, but there is really a lot of accelerators around, and it is always when I think about, okay, so what is this offer? It's always thinking, okay, so how much, what are the benefits and what we need to invest in that? Some of them want equities, but many of them doesn't require equity, but it's definitely a time commitment. And then it's always question, is it better to spend time being involved in this accelerator, or is it better to just focus on our business and our product, and this will be just the distraction? So we are quite picky right now, and we really know that right now we have some very, very specific needs, as I mentioned, for example, internationalization. And if there is an accelerator which would where I would have like good confidence that they can help with that, then yes, that's suddenly much more interesting. And of course, ClimAccelerator has the like specifics that it's focused on climate tech and clean tech. So that are the strengths. And I think like for the future, that is basically the branding and strong point. So it should continue with this. And yes, and if there is some ways to provide some specific help for not just general help for early stage startups, but some more specific help, which would be interesting for us, then I would be definitely interested in participating again.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, Ninat, can you tell me, what do you think is the future of acceleration programs?
Yes, Andre, thank you. So, I don't think there is a blueprint, that we can create, one future for all accelerators, and then we can all follow it, It is a very much tailor-made support for the specific pain that the startup founder has. Obviously, climate change is global. So I think what our job and our future is to build local talent for the global solutions, which means that we have to connect, and I think this is what's the great power of this accelerator program, that we are connected in a consortium with the different local markets or regional markets. But we also have to build talents that are actually going to scale globally, because, solving a climate change solution in Serbia or, in Slovenia or, in small countries as we are, it's not going to really change the whole planet. So we need to think how our startup founders are building internationally recognized and globally scaled a product or service that we are helping them. And obviously for that, the future of our type of accelerators is probably to have more money, because it's difficult to bring up front big products with small fundings that we usually have. So it's okay for the future accelerators that our startups fail, that they don't succeed in first, second, third, or whatever take. But I think that the future is definitely to have more funding available for less number of more scalable solutions.
Okay, thank you very much. And Magda?
I think everything was said. I have nothing much to add. I absolutely agree what Nenad was just saying, that there is no blueprint, that we are reflecting what is going on the market, and we are of course reflecting the needs of the startups, and we are trying to do the best out of it. In general, the acceleration programs, I think they have their space on the market. They should be here if they are somehow funded, or they even, are giving some grants. I think that's a good starting point for a lot of for a lot of startups. So this is a great chance actually to get at least a little bit of financial support to make the next wise step, I would say. And we are here to help them to actually decide what is the wise step. And my little dream for the future would be to actually, as Pavel and you actually mentioned it a little bit in the question too, Pavel, if he would like to become for the future maybe an expert or a mentor, I would really like to have the alumni a little bit more involved. Let's call it this way, because they went through the difficult path already. So who else than the alumni can actually share their experience, share the successes and the falls with the others. So that would be, from my point of view, the way how to maybe make the acceleration programs even more fruitful in the future.
Okay, you just build up the bridge to my other question, which you can start as well, because I was like to ask how to work with the experience of the acceleration after it has ended. How to work with alumni, how to add them to the program of the acceleration program. How to put them on the map, and how they could be a help for you to making the program happen, and how the startups involved in the program can benefit from experience of the alumni. So yeah, you made the bridge, so do the first step on it.
I would say it's $1 million question. It's like always to find the best fit is not the easiest. The idea, of course, one thing is the idea. One thing is to put it on the paper, to start the dialogue, to think about the program. The second thing and second part, which is very important, is the motivation, which needs to be from both sides. One thing is our motivation to get the alumni on board. The second thing is if the alumni are ready at this moment, when they just finish a very, I would say, difficult time where they spend a lot of energy on their business, to start to share with the others at the moment. Maybe they need a little bit more time. Maybe they are not ready right after finishing the acceleration. Maybe they need another year or two and then come back. When they are more settled in the business, then they are more self-confident maybe as well in sharing their story. So that's where our ideas are going to, but we can see, and you can see Pavel being here with Victora. He is an alumni. He is from the year 2021, and I am sure that he can tell us as well how he feels about it. But I can see how active Pavel is actually, a year from being, the startup as a part of the program. So yeah, I think it's about the dialogue and the motivation. So as I said, no an easy answer to your question.
Thank you, Magda. Nenad.
Well, yes, how do we, it's all about building relationship, right? So I think this is the power of what Magda was saying as well, like how do we get connected better, and we share the experiences. I think it's important to remember that, none of us was born knowing how to walk, so we should, tap back to our colleagues and people that we meet and understand better how do they run as fast as they do, and how can we help each other, that we are actually together, we are faster in that. Definitely think it's important to get involved, definitely to not connect only through the social media and all the channels that we are always on and stuff like that, but also to use every opportunity as possible, especially now with the whole COVID and after COVID situation, to use as much as possible a situation that we can meet in person, because that's how we build trust. So once we build trust, we build a relationship, then it's very easy to pick up a phone, and call Andrei and say, hey, listen, I was just wondering, is there something that, I'm looking for this, maybe you can help me with. So I think at the end, it's really about, building this trust, which I think that we are very good in this consortium, which we have been in the last 2 years. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Nenad. Pavel.
Okay, as Mark said, I think, like for me, it feels quite natural, and I believe that's how it basically goes. When we are receiving help from others, we are also inclined to provide the help, to help the others, as long as it's manageable time-wise, effort-wise. It's easy thing to do, and many people, including me, will be happy to do it. There is also, but it's not just about altruism. I would say it's also yes. Well, it has been said already, but for me, it really is just a natural part of the business to keep up the network, to build, to expand the network of people and community. And definitely ClimAccelerator community is interesting and important to us. And to me, it's always good to meet new people in this area, be it people from startups, new investors, or anybody else who has something to say to these topics, to be in touch of what is happening, what ideas are emerging, what trends are here. So that's all motivation to be involved with ClimAccelerator even after going through the acceleration. So that's just my point of view, and I think that's something which can be quite universal.
Okay, thank you. And Martin?
Yeah. Okay, like Pavel said, it's about involving them. How do we get them to be more active in our program? We just need to involve them more, call them, invite them to everything. It's a give and get situation, right? If they see benefit from what you're inviting them to, they're gonna come, and if not, it's basically they're gonna ignore the messages. But we see a good relationship already building. But the other side is, like we said before, we are raising early startups. So after they leave our program, they should be really, really, really busy. And that means that they do not have that much time. So maybe the alumni program is going to come in from those startups in 2-3 years time, when their project is much more advanced and in the advanced stage. But like I said, the give and get situation, they should really use it, as Pavel said, for inspiration, for getting new ideas, for recruiting as well, because startups recruiting is not so easy, as they all well know. But this kind of opportunities are great if the project doesn't work right now with the teams that are in Accelerator. Maybe you can onboard them in your company as well if you see the potential. So there's a lot of benefits for both to have. We just need to make an effort and just invite them, call them, how are you, meet up, and that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. So this was the third panel of our demo day. I guess we are run out of the time. So let me thank to our speakers from Impact Hubs and acceleration programs, also to our alumni. Thank you very much, guys, that you spent the time with us, that you shared your opinions and point of view. And for our audience, guys, you have heard three main parts of acceleration. You have heard opinions from investors, you have heard experience from startups, and also you have heard some opinions and point of view from people who are in between. So I hope that you took some notes, that we made some matters clearer, that we gave you some maybe answers or maybe questions to think about. And I hope that and wish for all the acceleration programs, and the most to ClimAccelerator, of course. I wish a really bright future with great people, as we have heard today. And thank you guys and the whole, the whole ecosystem of the consortium and all the impact hubs and people like this, that you do the sharing, that you care, that you do your work how you do, because maybe it has not that big impact right now, but I think that in the future, in those 3, 4, 5 years, it will have the impact, and you will see the results and the fruits of your work in the future. So thank you very much to the startups. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself with the information, and follow us on the website, on the LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. And never give up and be part of the acceleration programs, because you can meet other people who are thinking like you, and you can help each other. So thank you very much, guys. We will see each other, I hope, next year. And I wish you all a good luck, a great day, and have a nice Christmas. So see ya. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. And thank you.